What we actually have here today in front of us is the Ferrari 296 GTB, very first V6 Ferrari in history. 2022 is clearly a new year of development, and of course all the car manufacturers are challenged with creating products that are a lot greener. It's also about the beautiful colors you find equipped, such as this triple yellow on this particular Ferrari. There we have a wonderful heads-up display, just a touch of one of the key elements inside. Look at that dash pod, very fresh. And there we allow some airflow. You'll notice there's a little wing on top and allows and pushes the air along the top of the deck lid to force it down to the back wing where you can develop further downforce. Beautiful contours to the rear deck lid. There's one of your fuelers. And of course here you have, I love this handle. It's more flush mounted than the previous generation V8 Ferraris. Of course, circling around, it is a thing to behold with the curves and humps. Gorgeous. Look underneath that wonderfully contoured deck lid. We actually have an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. We have an electric hybrid motor driving as well, supplementing the twin turbo V6. That's 120-degree by very design. Then you'll notice we also have various cooling vents along the sides, on the top. All allows to supplement the cooling activities for such a high output engine. Of course, looking along the back, it is a thing of beauty. A total redesign. You no longer have the quad tips. Now you have the pipe in the middle. Right there, it's gorgeous. And of course, looking down in the middle, you'll see the two halves come together into one central piece. Absolutely nice, clean finishing. And there's a backup camera, so you don't crash into that parked car behind you. You'll notice wonderful rear splitter. Very, very beautiful right there as well as quite functional. It's not just about the looks. Form follows function with most Ferraris, and this certainly is the key. There, of course, look at the revised taillights. Definitely a departure from the older design. And then this is the rear wing that pops up under elevated speeds. Offers 100 kilograms of downforce on the rear suspension. Then looking down the side of this gorgeous unit, voluptuous is just its middle name. It's absolutely gorgeous. Newer style headlights, very widely mounted, but it's not just about the headlights. Look down in there, we have more cooling ducts right there as I fit my hand in there. That now pushes air down into the brakes to keep them cooler under hard, aggressive driving. Look at that wide stance there, gorgeous. And there's also further aero on the front there. That little tab actually does provide a little extra downforce at the front to keep the nose planted at higher speeds. Now we circle around to the side. Look at that shark nose look of it. Beautiful car, literally classic and aggressive. And Ferrari's not just about the prancing horse, although that's a big part of it. Look at the oversized brake calipers, carbon ceramic. So naturally it seems fitting that we actually take this for a drive, talk about a few of the quirks of the new 296, or if you will, unique appeal and elements that actually make it its own. Let's spend some time behind the wheel of the 296 GTB.
So right here is your right turn signal indicator,
right,
and then on the opposite side is your left turn signal indicator. So there's no turn stalks on a Ferrari. Right. Everything is designed to be controlled with your two thumbs.
Right.
So, and that is true. So you can manage all of the necessities and do it safely, which is great. So you can either do it in sport mode, and then up above you have race mode. I wouldn't go beyond that. That's essentially rest in peace. It turns off all of your traction control systems.
Right.
So for today, just keep it between these two.
Right.
And we'll keep it in automatic mode for the most part. And I'll show you how to go into gear. One thing we will do is, because you can drive this full electric, you can drive it hybrid mode in more of a race mode, like a performance setting.
Right.
And then there's one called qualify, which basically unlocks the full potential of the vehicle. What we're going to do on this one, simply because we're still good on, actually we don't need to. Our battery's great. We're starting to run low on gas, so we'll be good.
Gas, yeah, I see everything's digital here, right? Your heater controls.
Exactly.
I see you have an extra little...
And for the co-pilot, so this gives them a job. You can also do navigation, audio controls.
Perfect.
So everyone gets a job. And then if you pull down on this is your E-gate. Then they'll put us in reverse.
Okay.
And now, sorry, some guy parked his Porsche next to us. My apologies.
Yeah, no worries. And I have a backup camera. It looks
exactly, and we might have to do A couple
20
turns, but
20
that's
point
okay.
turn. You know what I might do? Forward, and I might tighten up that way.
Sure.
If that works.
Absolutely. So to
Okay,
go forward, pull once on this, and now you're in first gear.
Okay. Okay. I will just do the old.
This will be way easier.
They'll be like, you remember that guy that crashed that red one there last?
Exactly.
I don't want to be
And
that
then pull
guy.
once again. Now you're good to go.
Awesome. Love the carbon. I definitely love the carbon fiber paddle shifters.
Yeah.
Is that part of the steering wheel upgrade, or is that another?
It is. Yeah, it comes as a package.
Okay.
And that is, you'll see it on almost all of them.
Okay.
It's almost a sin not to.
I-
It'll come with the paddles regardless, but it's nice to have them in carbon.
The carbon, yeah. We're not going to bottom here in the front, eh?
No. They make it so you can still drive it at least, so that's nice.
Okay. What about the Fiorano package? That does not have a nose lift, right?
Correct. That is something that you give up when you go for the pure race version,
Okay.
but it's you'll still have some clearance, which is nice so you can enjoy it. But depending on your approach angle
Right.
at home, sometimes that's a make or break.
I'd have to pick up those little Canadian Tire recycled rubber wraps, I think, to make that happen.
Yeah, that's probably money well spent.
Yeah.
That means you get to have the extra potential.
You know, I noticed the steering wheel's a little different in the sense of smaller, right? It feels
is
smaller. It's like
It is, and we'll turn right here. Yeah, and this whole vehicle, it's very nimble. It's a great size, and so the agility on it's amazing, and that size of the steering wheel helps too.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It just feels like, you know, you get in a BMW, Audi, they're all like fat now. You almost barely get your hands around them.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want it to be like a school bus where it's just this giant apparatus. It still needs to be
Yeah,
really
no,
dirty.
it is very darty. And like, you know, honestly, coming from the Gallardo and anything all-wheel drive Lambo, I think one of my experiences, they don't have that urgency in the front end that.
Yeah.
The previous driver that we were talking earlier had mentioned that same thing. The steering is very direct.
Yeah, this is exactly. Everything's connected.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if it's not perfect, then they just keep on working on it until it is. Because there's no need for
I love that.
compromise, right?
So I feel like
Yeah, it's true.
it's beautiful. No, I mean it. It's
And then
great.
we'll turn right here. It really is hyper responsive.
Totally. Getting used to those signal.
Yeah, you'll adapt to that real quick, and then you'll wonder, why doesn't anybody else do this? Because it makes way more sense, and it's way safer too.
Oh, absolutely. It's
You
great.
keep your hands on the wheel where they belong.
Totally. Oh, it is absolutely. It's very functional. Like you say, why isn't anyone else doing that? It's a secret, a Ferrari secret.
Exactly. Probably not a very well kept secret, but I'm sure they've got a few patents on it.
So you can start pulling gears as well manually at any point?
Exactly.
Okay. So we're in auto mode. Is there anything to disable auto, like basically forces you to shift with this?
No, you have the option.
Okay.
And so it is a true manual F1 transmission.
Right.
That you can drive it like an automatic, but it is a genuine manual without a clutch. And then if you're in manual mode, you want to go back to automatic, there is a lever for it. But for right now,
Gotcha.
easy peasy.
I'm liking the overall feel of it is very, like you say, immediate, right? I think
Big
that's,
time.
And haven't been behind the wheel of a lot of Ferraris, but certainly this does not disappoint in the sense of the, you know, I guess the essence, right? The agility that it feels like.
And even this, like, the sound is much different than an F8. The whole feeling on this car compared to any other Ferrari is very unique.
So what
To the
motor?
296. So right now we are in race mode on a performance setting. So this will give you quite a bit.
Oh, it just knows when to downshift automatically. That's you can say very intuitive, very impressive.
It's amazing, and that
Absolutely.
torque band and power band, it's instant and it's continuous. I have yet to find the plateau.
It's beautiful. I love even, I don't know, the driving position. You almost feel like you're in a bit of a cocoon here too. It's great visibility.
It is, yeah. You never know with some supercars, but here, great sight lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely does not disappoint. I'll leave it at that.
It is awesome.
That's just, it just will never, ever get old. I'm not going to lie.
And this setup is very similar to what you'll see in like F1, which is a V6 hybrid system,
Right.
which is what we have here with a few added turbos.
Okay.
And we use F1 as our test kitchen. And what works there, they just transplant straight onto the production cars.
Okay.
So it's nice when they're an independent company and the only thing we build are Ferraris. And so it's they don't have to water it down.
Well, and that's part of, to me, the essence. I know Maserati sometimes borrows some ideas.
Right, and that's great. Like a lot of Maseratis are primarily powered with Ferrari engines, and that's a great thing because if you can't beat them, and the amount that Ferrari invests in their technology, why bother?
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's it's not like say Lambo and it's the Audi product, and
Right.
and there's money behind it, which is good in some regards. Reliability, some of the R&D and all that stuff is often worked
Right.
out, but like you say, there's a lot of sharing of parts and pieces, and
Yeah, and you'll be like, hey, that button looks familiar.
so are we?
Yeah, we'll turn right here. But Ferrari, it's all made for that specific model.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't like to share chassis and power plants.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's what surprises me so much is how much R&D must actually, how busy they must be, at Ferrari, literally, to come up with such unique models every few years.
Insane.
Literally, it's not like we're not talking about rebadging the same old. There might be some chassis similarities, but you look at I can't help but wonder, things like the lighting and the fenders and everything.
Yeah.
It's entirely rebuilt, redesigned so frequently. Not frequently in the way of, just.
It's
massive.
true though. Like most typical car companies will keep a model for about 7 years.
Right.
9 years is pretty common.
Okay.
Here it's about 18 to 30 months, and then they just move on to the next.
Right.
They retire the model and keep going, which is amazing. And when you do imagine the amount of R&D that goes into each one, and then they finish it pretty much as soon as it begins.
Totally. Absolutely.
It's wild. But I do hear we don't know what it will all encompass, but they're like, hold on, because the next 5 years are going to be insane.
Well, I saw something there. There's quite a significant amount of different models.
Yeah, I think they're going to be very busy. And perfect.
All right.
And you're perfect there.
That's
And
it.
if you pull both paddles at the same time, that'll put you in neutral.
Here we are.
And then all you have to do is just use the engine stop, and the e-brake comes on automatically.
Well, that's easy.
Easy peasy, right?
Pretty user friendly, yeah, you betcha.
Isn't that great? So during the day, it's it's a gentleman, and
Yeah.
then the second you touch it, though, that
Yeah.
whole spirit kind of comes out.
Oh,
of it.
absolutely.
Well, let's face it, with 820 horsepower, this brand new Ferrari 296 GTB is as fast as any hypercar these days. It puts down the numbers, the steering is delicate, the performance is breathtaking, really very little like it. See some new technology in the dashboards and the displays. Of course, the hybrid action is going to introduce some new complexity that may cause some reliability concerns in the future. We'll see with time. It's not an affordable car per se, at about $400,000 Canadian and up, of course, depending on options. It's going to represent moderate value. Makes it a glorified win in my books. These cars are absolutely amazing, stunning to look at, great new technology, performance, and literally one of the best performing cars on the market. This car puts down numbers almost on line with the Porsche 918 Spyder from a mere few years back.